Hey Rev City Church, one of my favorite games to play as a kid was Follow the Leader. Do you remember this one? It's where a leader would march around a room making silly gestures or movements, and the only way to win was to follow the leader. Ephesians 5 says, "Imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you are His dear children. Live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. He loved us and offered Himself as a sacrifice for us, a pleasing aroma to God." I love how the New International Version describes this verse. It says, "Follow God's example, therefore, as dearly loved children, and walk in the way of love, just as Christ loved us and gave Himself for us as a fragrant offering and sacrifice to God." There's 3 questions I want to ask from this verse. First, who are we supposed to follow? That's the easy question, right? Because God calls us to follow Him. When we surrender our lives to Christ, we are called to die to ourselves, our way of thinking, and follow Christ. But the second question is, what are we supposed to follow? The answer is in verse 1, when Paul tells us to follow Christ's example. It says, live a life filled with love, following the example of Christ. Jesus is our ultimate example of how we should live our lives. As disciples, we are called to do the things as Christ would do them, to love how Jesus loved and served how Jesus served. Finally, we have the question of why. Why are we called to follow Christ's example? The answer is because we are His children. Paul tells us to imitate God, therefore, in everything you do. Why? Because we are His children. So here's my encouragement for us today. Let's follow the leader. Who are you following in your life besides God right now that you maybe need to unsubscribe from? Whose example are you looking at to determine what it means to be a great spouse, parent, or follower of Christ? If our standard is anything other than Jesus Christ Himself, we are missing it. God calls us to an exciting relationship with Him, but it's one where we must follow His example. So get up and follow the leader.